All right. It is 11 p.m. on December 3rd. We are back with you guys for episode 13 of Lyceum podcast. It's good to be back. We had to take a week off for Thanksgiving, but we're here. And man, the world just keeps offering a lot of stuff to talk about in 2020. So we've got a lot to cover, but just want to
Never
start
run
off a
out.
little bit. Yeah. This year never runs out of material, which is nice. But we want to start off with a little bit more chill before we get into the real. So I guess Zach posted something on Instagram the other day about Coke and Pep
Facebook.
versus Pepsi. So I'm a Coke guy personally. I didn't see the
Same.
post, but we were just talking about it before we started recording. I'm a Coke guy. What do you guys got?
Coke.
Coke. Yeah.
Oh,
The reason
yeah.
I said well, and here's the thing. I wrote that on my Facebook too today because
Oh,
someone
okay.
said, I think someone said Pepsi or Coke. I forget which. I think someone might have said Pepsi, and I don't even remember the last time I had a Pepsi. So, and like I said, I have some Diet Coke sometimes. So I honestly don't even know what a Pepsi tastes like. But so I pretty much have to be a Coke guy.
All right. Yeah, I like Coke because, in my opinion, it is not as sweet as Pepsi, and it has more of that carbonation bite that you get from a Coke. Pepsi has a little bit less of that bite and a little bit more sweetness, and I just don't like that.
Yeah.
Slight
Personally.
disagreement over here.
Okay.
Slight disagreement. I actually feel I honestly do both sometime. And I feel like Coke is sweeter, but I get those ones in the glass bottles from Mexico.
Oh yeah,
So-
those are sweeter. Those are to me at least. Those are a little sweeter, and actually they're not as carbonated, I think. But those are bomb. The Mexican Cokes.
Oh yeah.
Are those? Wait, how do you know yours are from Mexico?
It just says it on the bottle.
Yeah.
So all the
Yeah.
glass ones are from Mexico?
No. I can taste the difference between Coke from America in the cans and definitely the ones in the bottle from Mexico. And my just sneaking suspicion is because they put a little extra some, you know what,
A
in
little
the
something,
Coke
something.
from Mexico. A little something.
They're still using the old recipe.
Yeah, well, actually, yeah. So I think it does say made in Mexico on the bottle, and then at a lot of like Mexican food places, you could get a Mexican Coke.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that was a Mexican Coke. I thought it was just a Coke in a bottle.
Oh yeah,
Because when I've been to Mexico and I've had their Cokes,
Mhm.
but I didn't know that the ones over here were for the same. You know?
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Hey, let us know what you guys prefer, Coke or Pepsi. Quick story. So I went to the Philippines in 2009 for a missionary trip, and out there it's kind of crazy. Like a lot of people drink Coke and stuff, but it's in bottles, glass bottles, and you just like leave it in like a package for them to come pick up, and they refill the glass bottles. So you drink it, leave it in like a little crate, and then I don't know, whoever comes picks it up and it gets refilled. But sometimes I question whether or not those bottles were being washed. It was a little.
Dude,
I never got
that's-
sick, but
That's what I was gonna say. That's what they do in Mexico too. So that's why I wasn't sure if they were the same. Because when you're done, you put them in those crates, and they're just sitting there like with the taco guy. They're just like sitting there, and it's like,
yeah.
that's funky, dude.
It's
Hey,
like
but
it's like
still
how
good.
it's like how they used to do milk back in the day in America. You know those milk bottles?
Yeah,
The milkman.
Same idea.
that'd be
Milk
sick if they
coming
still
through.
did that, dude. That'd be tight if they still did that.
Yeah, it would.
There's too many
All
of
right.
us. We couldn't
Hey,
do it anymore.
so we got that out of the way real quick. The Tyson fight, Tyson Roy Jones. Did you I know Zach, you watched it. Pedro, did you watch it?
No, I didn't watch it. Who
You didn't
won?
watch it. Okay. Who won, Zach?
Shut up.
Hey, but for real. Okay, who did you want to win? Because I was so torn, man. Like
Don't ask me that. You already know. Who
I know
wanted.
who you wanted. It was so hard. Like it was weird because I literally could not make up my mind going into the fight because I love Tyson, but I also love Roy Jones. Like, and I grew up watching both of them. I probably watched Tyson more than Roy Jones. And I thought for sure, like, all right, when the fight starts, I'll be able to tell who I want to win. And I did a bet on DraftKings before. I said Roy would win in a decision, but I think Tyson won. They called it a draw. It was
but they did that
celebrity
because of
scorecards.
Yeah, they did that because of the exhibition. Though.
Yeah, they did.
It wasn't even, in my opinion, it wasn't even a thought. Like, there is no thinking. There was no debate. Tyson was destroying him. And when Roy got in the corner in like the third round or something, he was like, "My head hurts. My head hurts." And
dude, he was
was
catching Roy pretty good, dude.
Yeah, and then Tyson stopped hitting him in the head after that. So he
had a good body shot, and I think the 5th round where I was like, "Oh, dude, Roy better get out of there."
Man,
but Roy fought his fight. He did what he had to do in that fight, you know.
Yeah, just survive.
Well, yeah, he went in the clinch. He worked a little bit out of the clinch, and then he was in and out. And I mean, he did what he had to do. But yeah, Tyson won, and it was funny because so during the fight, I had a hard time making up my mind. But because I bet on Roy, I was like kind of leaning towards him. But then at the end, I was like, man, nah, Tyson. Like, I love Tyson. Tyson is awesome, and just to see how he's changed over the years is pretty cool. Like, he used to be an absolute savage, and he's still. I think if he were to fight with this mindset, it would be different. But I think he would still be able to go in the ring looking to tear somebody up, but not be as savage outside of the ring in normal everyday life.
Yeah.
Did they both look good at least?
Physically?
Tyson looked
how
better.
they moved in the ring. How they moved in the ring.
Oh, yeah, Tyson
looked better. Yeah.
But also, Roy has such a weird, unorthodox style that, like, if you never watched boxing before and if you never watched Roy, you would think that he didn't know how to box.
Yeah.
Because he runs in and
he
drops and moves away like really fast. So
yeah.
But
he honestly though, I was kind of impressed because the way Roy fought, dude, he was conditioned because he would move a lot. He would go in with his hands down, and I mean, like, in his heyday, he was conditioned all the time. So he still fought with some of that same style. And I mean, I was like, dude, the fact that he was able to drop his hands and go in there and move and not get dropped by Mike Tyson is pretty impressive still.
Well, hey, I don't know if you watched.
But he stopped hitting him in the head after he said my head hurt. So
fair.
So well, I don't know if you watched this one YouTube channel called Mind Mash, but he goes over in complexity why people fight with their hands down. It's so that they can dodge better, and so that when they move outside of the clinch, or when they're getting swung on and they're moving out, they are quicker to be able to, while moving out, get a hit in. So I think that's why fighters fight with their hands down, and it makes perfect sense because center of gravity. He explained it well. You guys should look that up. Mind Mash. Why they fight with their hands down.
Hey, but you gotta to be able to do that consistently, confidence, like Roy Jones used to do, man. That takes that's something else.
I was gonna say I thought you were gonna say to be able to watch Mike Tyson fight again. Oh, this is like the craziest year that it has to be the craziest year in America. It has to be. Hands down, has to be. I don't care, dude. I don't care about the 60s. I don't care about the 20s. So many strange things has happened this year. It takes, and we still have a month. We still have a month.
It's not 2020 to me anymore. It's not 2020 to me anymore.
Wait,
this is 1776.
Wait till the middle of this month, bro, and something happens, and you're just like, okay, that's it. There's gonna be like a cherry on top of this year, bro. I'm telling you, we got 20-something days left for it to happen.
That's true.
It's not 2020 anymore.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is definitely the craziest year we've ever seen, and I've heard older people say that it's the craziest year for them too. But I think, man, like the Great Depression had to be
Nope.
something
Nope.
else, dude. Like that was something else. World War
It's probably
II,
pretty crappy. It's probably pretty
like
crappy. But I'm not talking about just crappy. I'm talking about so many different things happening.
Yes,
yeah,
That's
variety
just
is
like-
here. We have
That's just-
variety, but I
Like,
think
what else could happen?
and it's
Bro,
like at a
they
constant
told us that
boiling point
UFOs
too.
are real.
you know what else could happen.
A terrorist
is what-
attack.
I can tell you exactly what's going to happen. I didn't want to say it last time because I was trying to get away from it, but the boog could pop off. It's the boog. It's gonna pop.
The boogaloo, dude.
Hey, my prediction for this year, to top it off, I'm gonna say that there's gonna be a terrorist attack. That's my prediction for the something happening. That's like, okay, there you go.
Okay,
You can have 2020
prediction
back
on
now.
where, when, and why.
A terrorist attack.
Yeah.
That's hard, dude. I'm not smart enough to know where they would hit us.
I do. I know where they'll hit us.
Is Pedro smart enough to predict the future?
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
I
all
can.
am. Let me tell
I'm
you.
tuning in. Yes, my fellow Boogaloo boys are tuning in with me now from the future. They're telling me it's gonna happen in Portland, Oregon, where they've illegalized every drug on the planet.
Dude.
Yes.
Is that a
I thi-
fact?
Well, okay, so
There's
they are
needles
not
on the ground.
They are not charging people with criminal offenses for basically any class drug. So it's going to be all rehabilitation based charges. Shooting up some heroin, let's go ahead and get you into rehab. No criminal charges. whatever, dude.
No, this is how bad it is, Zach. Have you ever been? You've been in a doctor's office to get some kind of shot or get, something
Never.
like.
I've
Never?
been to the doctors.
Never. Okay.
Not ever.
Well, there's these red boxes that you might see on the wall that they dispose needles in, right?
Yeah.
Imagine that filled to the brim, and just at every tent you see in Oregon, there's a box right outside of it. And next to that box is 30 other boxes popped open because people just said, I'm just going to reuse these anyway. That's Oregon right now. I was watching a video where pretty much people were trying to help clean up the area.
That exact scenario happened?
Yes.
Or did you just kind of exaggerate a little bit?
I'm not exaggerating at all. There was a video where people are cleaning up the streets of Oregon, volunteer work. It's tent city, meaning homeless people are populating the sidewalk right in front of neighborhoods. And there is a box of needles, a red box where you dispose of needles in the doctor's office, popped open, overflowing with needles. Next to it is another box with, obviously more needles. And then this just goes on and on down the block. This is
That's
Oregon.
sad.
And
That's sad.
So that many people, is it just because of that? So when did they give us the okay?
It was just during the election. It was one of their it was one of their state props. If I'm not like
Proposition?
super familiar with it, but what I said earlier, I believe to be 100% accurate. You guys, listeners, could fact check it, but I read an article about it, and yeah, no, it's not criminal charges anymore. It's all rehabilitation based. And to Pedro's point, like I didn't see that, like the overflowing boxes, but it doesn't really surprise me because Portland's a pretty dark place. A lot of homelessness, a lot of sex trafficking, and this like I mean you can go there. It's not like I've been in the city. It's fine, like it's cool. I didn't see the mass population of homeless people like the tent city is now, but same thing with LA. Like Skid Row has grown tremendously over the past few years, so it doesn't surprise me that it's kind of blowing up and that people would, at least in Portland, take advantage of the law and just freaking wild out,
yeah, it's a everyday Democrat-run state, so the normal.
But the thing
normal
is,
things going
though,
there.
the thing is about Oregon is it's Portland who drives the rest of the state. Like the rest of the state is fairly conservative.
Oh yeah,
Is that where, I know we already talked about this, but is that where Chaz was, or is that a different state?
Chaz was in
When-
Seattle, but I think they also had one in Portland. Like they had one of those autonomous zones, I think, in Portland, or they were trying to set it up.
To finish my
So they're just
prediction, I
running
think
wild
that
over there.
it'll happen there, and it'll be a domestic terrorist attack.
Mm.
And
What
it'll be
happens
like
then?
a takeover of some more blocks. This is just me flying off the cuff at the handle, just giving a good guess.
Zach, would you say, like, if Antifa tried to take over and create another Chaz-like situation, would that fall into a terrorist attack?
No. No, I'm talking hard. I'm talking like 9/11 status because like if Antifa, it would have to be like a nationwide Antifa hit. You know what I mean? Like
Oh, that's just the boogaloo.
like they organize it because right now they're not they're completely disorganized, but they're hitting spots and it's like barely making the news. People are like whatever about it now because it's happening so often. In order for them to count, I think, as like a big terrorist attack, because they are, like Pedro said, dude, they're not like, we don't want that to happen. They're
They hold out signs marching saying "Death to America."
Yeah,
that's who you're dealing with. We're dealing with communists.
Don't
communists
be afraid. Or terrorists.
Yeah, don't be afraid when the boog happens, ladies and gentlemen. Just know that they're playing our song outside and it's time to dance. That's all that means. Get your dance shoes on. It's ready.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I would say. So Pedro. So are you saying for your prediction? Are you saying like a smaller, like kind of what they've been doing, or just like on a larger scale?
It's what they've been doing, dude. They're very like if you look at these cats on an individual level, and I don't like making fun of people, but they're not disciplined people who go to the gym and are organized people who train to fight and use weapons and come up with tactics. They're not doing that kind of stuff. They're just it's unorganized violence. How about that? They're just causing trouble. Like when they were outside that one guy's house who had the Biden sign outside of his door, and he's like, "I voted for Biden. Please don't hurt me," But that didn't work out for him. They didn't care about that, but they didn't end up hurting him either. They were just keeping him up till like 1 a.m. scared they were gonna start fires and burn his house down or something like that. That's all.
Yeah. When you just said that he was trying to get people to stop because he supported Biden, that reminded me. I didn't fact check this, and I haven't really watched Tucker Carlson too much. I just actually more recently started listening to like more of his clips, and I think he's funny. I think he's pretty accurate with his delivery on a lot of things. He calls out stupid crap, but Eric Garcetti apparently had the mayor of LA apparently had like BLM outside of his house protesting because of something that he was going to do, and the police force, the LAPD, was there guarding his house. So it's real funny to me how all like mayors, government officials who want to defund the police start calling the police as soon as something pops off. And I know defunding the police doesn't mean removing the police, but drastically cutting the funds that they have available does happen. So I mean that has big impact on how the police force can protect the citizens. So just kind of funny how Garcetti did that. And before we jump into the meat and potatoes of the show, another
wait, hold on, what's your prediction?
Oh, what's my prediction?
Andrew?
Yeah. Do you think it's just going to taper off? Is the end of 2020? Is it looking like it's gonna, or is something going to pop off?
I don't think it's going to taper off because of the meat and potatoes of the show. We're talking about the voter fraud hearings that are going down in the other states. So I think as these hearings go on, you've got a lot of people fired up about that, and a lot of people don't want to just like let it go quietly, which is fair. So I don't think it'll end super quietly, but I don't see anything crazy happening. You
don't think like, boom, everything was messed up. We messed up. Donald Trump's the president. What about that?
I don't see that happening.
And when he says
okay.
boom, ladies and gentlemen, he means what's a good disco song that starts with boom? God, it's on the tip of my tongue.
Disco?
All that, if you hear that, ladies and gentlemen, all that means, once again, one last time, your song is playing outside. That's all that is. And it's time to see if you paid attention in the salsa classes. So also, before we get into the other meat and potatoes, I was coming up, I perfected the technique for gentlemen out there who have violent women coming after them. I perfected the technique. This is exactly what you do. We are abandoning the handcuff policy. We're going with the 2-car policy. What does that mean? You're in a parking lot, more than likely. You're next to some like parking structure of some kind, right? What you're gonna do, you're gonna give her the 1-2 shimmy shake, and then you're gonna dip into that parking lot, and you're gonna put 2 cars between you and her all time. But
What's
one
the
marker,
shimmy shake?
hey, don't put your car in front of her. Bad move.
Yeah.
Because then she's like, oh, I don't need him anymore. And then you know what happens next. We've all seen Next Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. We're 21 minutes in. One more thing before we jump in. Austin Mayor, the mayor of Austin, he did something similar to Governor Gavin Newsom, told everybody, we're supposed to be staying at home. He literally delivered a video message of how the residents of Austin should do everything in their power to stay at home while he was in Cabo San Lucas in Mexico, attending his like a wedding party for his daughter. And then he just made a video like, it was the dumbest video. He's like, I'm very sorry for my actions. I just can't believe it. And I'm like, dude, these people are sorry because they got caught. Like, he didn't even sound a bit sorry.
Was he smiling like Newsom?
No, he was. I don't think he was, if I remember correctly. But I was like, man, how many of these dudes? Because clearly they don't. Okay, maybe not clearly, but to me, it doesn't seem like they think they're at a super high risk of COVID if they're willing to fly down to Cabo, party it up with their friends and family. So they don't seem to think that they're at that great a risk of dying from COVID. But they're still willing to put forth these orders. And we didn't hit on this, but our thoughts on COVID now that we've progressed this far. We were kind of debating before we started recording. Should we talk about it? It's kind of beating a dead horse, but I feel like it's not beating a dead horse because you've still got a lot of people, in my opinion, being controlled by fear. The fear mongering of the media, and it's being blown out of proportion, in my opinion. And I feel like I can say that because I know people who have gotten COVID. I know elderly people in their 90s who have gotten COVID, in their 80s who have gotten COVID, who have lived, didn't even need to go to the hospital. They've been taking good natural supplementation. They were able to pull through COVID. It obviously took a toll on them, and it was longer for them to recover, but they've pulled through. I know younger people who have got COVID who have recovered while having symptoms very similar to just a normal flu. So I feel like I had it too. I don't know if I did or not because I never got tested, but I think I can say at this point, I know enough people who have gotten it that it doesn't seem as bad as it's being trumped up to be. And it seems like it's a more severe flu-like virus that has a higher propensity to take out the elderly and the immunocompromised people. But aside from that, if you're healthy, you're going to be perfectly fine. But you still have a lot of people buying into the hype, dude. Like, and I mean,
dude, I think
crazy.
part of that is, all right, so my stance when it first started was I think I already said this. I feel like we might have talked about this on here or just between the three of us, but I thought it was BS. I thought it was because of the election or some kind of behind the curtain movement. You know what I'm saying? I thought something else was going on. And I don't know. You know, it could it have been man made? Could it have been handed out? Yeah. Are people putting genetically modified mosquitoes, hundreds of thousands genetically modified mosquitoes out into the open, which are like have a purpose and are changing the ecosystem and the way things live? Yes. So could this have been spread out? Yeah. Would that explain the media hype? I think a little bit, because I do know a lot of people who have gotten it. And like I was telling you guys before we started, at my work, this is why I wasn't a believer, because I work with so many people inside of a building with like, there's no like, it's not like cubicles or anything like that. Like everyone is basically coming into contact with everybody. We get checked before we go in for the temperature, but it's not really working. So I would say 1 out of 3 people right now. I work with hundreds of people, probably close to like 500. 1 out of 3 has it right now. Like it spread so fast, so fast that it is crazy. Like I'm getting a little worried. Like if I'm gonna get it, not because I'm gonna die or anything like that. I just don't like getting sick. I don't get sick often at all. I hate having a fever. I hate having the body aches. So that's why I'm scared. But yeah. I am recognizing now that it is very real, and the symptoms are very real. Everyone I talk to pretty much has back pain of some sort, and they can't taste or smell, and they have a fever.
Yeah.
So you know, if they didn't all have that same exact symptoms, I would still think that it was just your common cold or whatever. But it is spreading really fast. And a week ago, I would have said that them trying to hype it up again, you know, like they're doing, bumping it up, and like we're in the purple tier or whatever out here, Newsom said. So he tried to close everything back up again. I said that was BS. I still do. You know, dude.
Why do you think it's BS if it's spreading? Because I agree with you, but why do you think it's BS if it's spreading as quickly as you say as you're seeing it spread?
Because so many people get sick every single year, every single day, and nothing like this has ever happened except I think last time something like this happened was
correct,
like in the
1917 influenza breakout or whatever it was, 1918
correct.
or whatever. Yeah.
This
So
is
I agree with you, because here's the thing, like it is spreading. People are getting it. I know it's real. But the death rate is not as lethal as they initially said that it was. And it's almost, in my mind, it's spread to so many people, it doesn't make sense anymore to try to quarantine people to stop the spread. You're like, okay, this thing has spread. We've seen people get it, recover, and it's okay. And I know you got doctors that are like, well, we don't know the long-term impacts of COVID. There could be other implications after you've recovered that are long-term. I don't know. Maybe. But to me, it just doesn't seem logical to try to stop something that's been spread so widely and now continue to try to contain it and stop it from spreading, because you're like, how are you going to do that? Like, you would literally have to lock the entire country down for like 2 weeks. 100% lockdown where you're not even going out to get groceries. You're not coming into contact with anyone outside of your house. Everything is 100% fully shut down for 2 weeks, so that you can make sure that everybody who has it has been able to recover from it and eliminate the virus from their system. And is that logical to do with something that's not that deadly?
I think it is, bro.
You do?
I think it is. I didn't like, dude. I think if they made it, what do you call it when it has to be done?
A mandate?
Yeah, mandate. If they mandate it, okay. Like, and the cops were on board and everything. Basically, we're gonna work together as a country. It's not a communism, thing. In 2 weeks, this is gonna be over. and this is for everyone's health, dude, let's do it. Let's stop the sickness so everyone can enjoy their families in the holidays and stuff. Have Christmas,
It would
you
have to be a
know.
worldwide global lockdown. You have to get every single country on board. It wouldn't
Yeah, I
just be
retract what I
us.
just said. I retract what I just said, dude. It's a good idea. It's a good idea, but that does go into communism. That does go in a lot of different things. But that is the only logical thing that could get rid of this sickness.
Yeah, yeah. And okay, so I will say at the beginning when we didn't know how deadly it was, like if there's a virus that's taken out like 1 out of every 10 people or whatever, something real high, then it's like, okay, look guys, you have a 10% chance of dying. Let's go ahead and lock everything down for 2 weeks to make sure that we're going to survive and we don't wipe out 10% of the world's population. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like in that case, I would say, oh man, all right, that sounds pretty solid. And especially if you run into a situation where you're facing a virus um, that is, I'm gonna say not biased, and I say coronavirus is biased because it's more effective at killing elderly and immunocompromised. If you're healthy, you're all right. So if you had something that's just wiping out like unbiased the world's population, like yo, let's lock it down. Let's make sure that we come together and freaking get rid of this thing. But right now, dude, it's like a bad flu. Like
Yeah, it's not
a
happening.
you know?
Can I chime in?
Yeah, hold on real
Yeah.
quick. If
Yeah.
store owners didn't say wear a mask, I would never wear a mask. And I just told you
Agreed.
how I feel about it. I would never wear a mask. So, that's just my point of view. Go ahead, Pedro.
Yeah, I'm done with the coronavirus, mainly because people like or organizations like the John Hopkins University releasing articles revealing how the deaths are really kind of misleading, how they've been previously reported, like the CDC's previous lethality of the actual virus, how they've been coming out report with articles on it. I encourage you all to go to these websites of these recognized organizations and show that they have articles disputing directly what's been told to you on social media and by mainstream media. I don't see people outside like you would in the bubonic plague, how it was documented, people having boils on their face, throwing, dying from dysentery and all that. I don't see that going on. And finally, I do think it was an attack from a foreign entity, the Chinese, not the Chinese people. I love the Chinese people. I'm talking about the Chinese government. If you go and watch some of their protests, you'll hear them singing the national anthem. And I know some of you out there don't like the national anthem for some reason, but they're singing it because they know what their government's doing, and they're very wise to what communism is doing. And mainly, I'm done with COVID-19 because it's killing small business owners. It's killing our economy. It's going to wreak havoc on, not to say I'm all about money, but at the end of the day, that's how we organize and trade with one another. It's going to wreak havoc on the economy and how people are going to be able to survive financially. So
I'm getting pumped right now. And we're 33 minutes in, really quick.
Yeah.
Should
we're gonna go past it.
I was gonna say, should we just do a 2-parter for episode 13?
I want to keep recording tonight. I've been playing this in the background for a reason, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
This is the Michigan hearing.
It's good stuff. But before we jump into that, yeah. I gotta just, I'm getting pumped up because, dude, this is 100% true what we're saying. And okay, here's the thing. Some people might be listening, watching, being like, you guys are idiots, you're stupid, and we need to continue to be caution. Double up on those masks, put a face shield on. I want to be safe. Okay, that's cool. You can have your opinion and you can think we're idiots. But
it's not a face shield, it's a face diaper.
So to Pedro's point, let's look at some data. I don't know if you guys have plowed through the CDC data, but I haven't like dug in into crazy depth on it, but I have dug into it, and the deaths are being misconstrued. We kind of joked about it on previous podcasts where guy died in a motorcycle accident, had COVID, it got counted as a COVID-19 death.
And he later didn't voted in the election.
Yeah. He also voted in this election. That's a joke, but we didn't know at the time if that was 100% accurate because we had said that when the CDC data hadn't come out. But now that the CDC data has been itemized and categorized and it's all out there for public consumption, you can see different itemized categories that show the one that jumped out to me and brought everything into question and made me think we need to look at all of this, all of the underlying symptoms is because, okay, so for one, they show if you died with comorbidities, meaning did you have something else at the time of your death besides COVID? And I'm not a coroner, I'm not a doctor, but I imagine people die with comorbidities pretty frequently. But if you have a heart attack and you also had diabetes, I don't think that the coroner is going to say the primary cause of death is diabetes when you literally died of a massive heart attack. They're going to say primary cause of death is a heart attack. And they're going to say, yeah, this guy also had diabetes. That's an afterthought. Well, in this case, you can have you could die in an accident or you can commit suicide because there's literally a line item for accidents and suicides and those type of deaths. So you could die from that with COVID-19 and you will be counted as a COVID-19 death. Go check the CDC data. That is 100% accurate. So that is ridiculous. And it brings all of the deaths into question. And the numbers that are being reported to us as a percentage basis are just not right.
Yeah. I would say it brings a lot of the deaths in question. Not all of them, but a lot of them.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot, because some of them are legit. Like you see on there, chronic respiratory illness is one of the comorbidities. And it's like, okay, if you have a chronic respiratory illness and you get COVID-19, we know this is a respiratory virus. You have a good chance of dying. You know? Yeah. So that to me is like, well, dang, that seems like a legit COVID death. But there's other stuff on there, like acute respiratory failure could be caused by COVID-19. But anyways, so yeah, a lot of that data is in question. We've been toying with the idea of doing it in-depth, completely fact-based, completely opinions.
Manipulated.
No, no, I was gonna say we've been toying with the idea of doing a fact-based series to analyze the COVID data, dig into the vaccine trial data, and get some experts on here to talk about some stuff. But we still got to see, because that's going to take a lot of time, a lot of work. I don't know if we'll be able to pull that off, but let us know if you guys want something like that, and we will hold our opinions. We will give you the straight facts if we do something like that. We'll hold our opinions till the end.
Yeah, I do need to apologize real quick. My staff and I tried to get a hold of Alex Jones, but he was just so inundated with all the hearings going on right now that couldn't make it happen.
Real quick, I do want to say if anyone listening to this, if you guys happen to know someone who did lose their life to COVID, we are really sorry for your loss. And, we're not trying to, if we sound arrogant or trying to be like funny on this topic, we're not, it's just saying how we feel, basically just predictions, hypotheses about, the disease. So yeah, we're just, we're sorry about your loss. And, yeah.
That's a good point. Because, yes. I mean, death is not a funny thing, no matter what you die from. But we do know death is inevitable. So our cause of death is coming. I mean, for us, thankfully, we're Christians, we're believers, and we know that death has been defeated by Christ and his life, death, and resurrection, and his blood covers us. So that is our hope. And I think that also gives us it becomes our worldview. We filter everything through that, and so when there's something like COVID-19 out there in the world, I think we have a slightly different mindset than a lot of people when we're thinking about it as well.
Yeah, and when people ask us, we get some people offline who want to message us and ask us, "Hey, so you guys call yourselves Christian, but you guys talk about politics a lot." I just ask one clear, quick question: Do politics involve morals? If the answer is yes, then guess what? We do have an obligation to actually have a voice in the conversation. Because are we gonna? I heard the timer go off. Are we gonna get to these? Can we talk about this, or is it out? Are we done?
I'm down to do another 40. A
I'm down
part
to do
two. I
another
don't know.
40.
I don't know, Zach. If you can stay on for another 40 minutes.
Be honest.
Yeah.
You can say no.
Yeah, I'll probably have to jump off, dude. But you guys go for it for real. Like I'll listen to it. It'll be exciting. Yeah, I'm actually bummed that because I want to keep going, but
Dang,
I have
okay.
obligations in the real life that I gotta.
Yeah. This is fun time right now.
Yeah, this is secondary, so don't worry. We
Yeah.
totally understand, man. You have a family and stuff, so
Yeah, and real quick, if you guys are gonna keep going on this?
Andrew, do we want to keep going without him, or do we want to wait for him?
I'm down. Yeah, I'm down.
I'm down.
Yeah, get it. All right, real quick. I got 2 shout outs. My homie Alexander Jackson. He is actually a producer. He does that on his spare time and basically all of his time, which is
he seems like a beast.
Dude, he's tight. And you know what's sick is I was looking at one of his videos and Esso liked it. And if you guys don't know who Esso is, yeah, he's my favorite Christian rapper, and he's got bars. That dude is sick. And I was looking, I was like, wait, is that Esso? And I clicked on it, I was like, bro, you got Esso following you, man. He's like, I don't even know who that is. I was like,
that's crazy, dude.
But yeah, shout out to my boy Alexander Jackson. He follows us on our Instagram page. If you want to hear him, check him out. He's a sick producer. Go look him up on our Instagram. He posted a story on the Spotify top 5 podcasts, and we're on there. And my other homie Brian Zuniga at work also posted his top 5, and we're on there. And we're on my top 5. So, dude, this is sick. I'm stoked. I'm stoked that people are listening. And I'm stoked that we're able to sit here as friends, even though we're all moved away and, away from each other, and continue to have fun and have our conversations like we always did.
Yeah, it's dope, man.
Anyways,
thank you guys for the support.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right.
I'll catch you guys later. I can't wait to hear you guys' rest of the 40.
Dang.
Correct.
Oh, man, I'm bummed. All right, Zach. I feel you, bro. Later, man.
Have a good one, Zach.